Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, and as promised, I wanted to talk a little bit about, passive food production. And what I mean by that is kind of like today, where it rains. Here's the problem with doing live videos, if you don't have your stuff lined out. Okay, passive food production. When the people came and settled this property, they planted apple trees. I think that was one of the first things they did, right up there. And I've showed you in the one that came down. And, I don't really do much for the apple trees, and they're not an every year thing, but on the years that they come, they produce a lot of food, a whole lot of food. I mean, more food than we can eat, more apples than we can eat. And so then it becomes the food of the pigs, and the chickens love them too. And so everybody gets to eat off those trees. And it's kind of passive in that I don't do anything. Somebody else did it years and years ago, planted those trees, and now I get the benefit of it. One of the things that we did, and I think this would have been 5 years ago, maybe a little more, is we planted these raspberries. When I was a kid, there was a guy that lived next door to us, and he had these kind of raspberries. And every year when they came on, it was like he would pick them and bring them over to us, and me and my sister used to sneak over there and snag a few. And this also provides a southern border on our garden, so there's a reason for that. But anyway, what these guys are doing now, they're on their way to do something that I've asked them to do, but this wasn't it. But they've kind of gotten distracted, and I gotta admit, I got distracted too. Look at these things. It's kind of nice and cool today. Look at those. And every day, more and more of them become ripe and, ready for us to eat. And all of the kids circulate through here and just grab them and eat them. And I do too. Whenever I think about them, I got to come down here and get a handful of them and eat them. They're really, really good. And they're nice and big. Let's see if I can pull one off so you can see exactly how big it is. Now, this one's not as ripe as it could be, but they're nice and big. And if we did total it up, there's quart after quart after quart of preserves here that will get a family my size through the winter very easily. And they're high quality too. I mean, it's not like the stuff you get at the store that's kind of soupy. And this is an example of like passive food production. Okay. What about passive livestock production? Okay. I had hoped that they'd be around, but they're not. Years and years ago, somebody left some ducks here that wanted us to process those ducks. Ooh, low battery. Okay, I won't be going long then. And when we told them that they'd be ready at 5 o'clock to come pick them up, and they said, that's okay. We just don't want the ducks. All right, so we didn't feel like killing them just to kill them if they didn't want them. So we let them go. And they've been here ever since. That's generations ago of ducks. And, I've got several ponds back there, so they fly down there and they have their babies. And anyway, every year those ducks cruise around here and they pick up a lot of things that get left around, like feed, maybe stuff like this. They'll come and have a few raspberries. I don't mind if they do. And I don't do anything for them. I do nothing for them. And, they don't all make it, but I don't even keep track of them. But then every year, there'll be 25 ducks, 30 ducks, 45 ducks cruising around, and they get big in a season. And so we'll go collect up a bunch of them, and it becomes ducks in my freezer for my family. So it's something to think about, you know, something that can be working all the time while you're going about your daily thing, or while time is going by, the system is working. Like this morning, I got real excited because this field here that I've planted is now just waiting for a little warmth on that soil, and those seeds are going to germinate, and that field will explode. It'll just explode. That's radishes, by the way, field radishes. And I put clover up on top here. So I think that's real interesting, and it's something to think about. Like when you're putting together a farmstead, berry bushes are really inexpensive. They just take a while to get established. Now, if you look at that row of berry bushes, it's unstoppable now. And every year they sucker in the spring, and we give a lot of them away. So we've been instrumental in getting a lot of those things established around this community. A lot of people have. And then on the north or the east side, I have another kind that's there. And they haven't done as good as these ones. So whatever these ones are, one of these days I will take the suckers out myself, pot them, give them a good start, and then distribute them around the farm, different places. I plan to do that one of these days. That's on my list. And then, you know, if we had a bunch of these someplace, like the deer could eat them, the bear could eat them, and there's definitely enough here for us, so we don't need any more for us. But you know, you can never have enough raspberries on the farm. And there are other things like that. I mean, there's so many different types of berries. There's nut trees, there's fruit trees, and all that stuff. You know, when's the right time to put it in? The right time to put that in was last year. You know, you want time to go by, and these passive makers of calories for you and your family to get a good start and to start to flourish. Like this farmstead right now is worth far more as a farmstead than it ever would be as just barren land, because the systems that are in place that are established now. And so that's something you want to think about when you put your farmstead together. Again, our class starting in September, if you're interested in that, there is a Facebook page now you can go. It's Anyone Can Farm Homesteaders Guild. But at this point, if you haven't joined the class, you can't get into it to even see the welcoming video. And that's the gate right there. We want the money. So when you pay your money for this information, you get the keys to the gate, and you can see the welcoming video, which probably isn't quite up there yet, but it will be soon because I'm working with my new camera. And then, you know, every week for 12 weeks, there'll be a new video that comes out on Thursday. You can watch that at your leisure, and then you'll have the weekend to implement some of the things that you might want to do, or maybe you don't want to do any of it. And then on Tuesday, we get together for a forum to where it's live on over the computer, or over the, oh, you know what I mean. And it's question and answer, and then we can really deep dive into some of these things, because the videos are going to be about an hour long. And one of the things that I have learned since I've been going down this road of transferring all this information is how much information there is, right? And so to scratch the surface of a subject, let's say water, you know, and can condense that, the things you might want to consider going into the homesteading business, it's pretty tough to do. So I might not be able to do it. I might just feel like going longer, and if I want to, I will. But I start to realize how much information there is, and a 12-week class is really just hitting the mountaintops. I mean, when we get together for the conversation, that's the deep dive, but that's going to be on an individual basis. I can't hit every subject that a person would want to know because I don't really know what you're going to need to know. But as we have the subject out there to think about and consider, and then you all are moving in that direction, you might say, well, hey, what about this? And if I know, I can tell you. If I don't know, I can say, well, I don't know, but if it were me asking the question and I needed an answer to it, I think I would go in this direction here. And there's going to be stuff that we're just not going to know. And then we're going to have to turn to the internet of things. The difference here is we're going to be drawing off of the things that we know, right? And the things that we know are the things that we have experienced. You know, do you know your phone number? A lot of people don't even know that anymore. I know my phone number from when I was a kid because I dialed it so many times. My phone number right now I do because I've handed it out, but I've never dialed my own cell phone number. I don't think I have. So the things that we're going to transfer are the things that we know. And of course it's going to bring up subjects that we don't know. And that's going to give us food for thought as the program progresses, because this first set of videos that comes out, 12 of them, it's going to be from my memory banks. It's from the information that I've gleaned in doing this for 20 years. I've done it 15 years as a professional, and then I did it 5 years, probably 5 or 7 years while I was in the Air Force, just dinking around on the side when I was supposed to be doing other things, probably. All right, enough information. Mark from Baker's Green Acres. See you then.